Okay. So thank y'all for joining us tonight. We really appreciate y'all being here. So this is our virtual new 4-H parent orientation for Bastrop and Lee counties. And basically this is kind of the, okay, we signed up, now what do we do training is what we joke about calling it, okay? Mostly this is kind of just an intro to the fact that, you know, we view our 4-H program as a family. We'll go a little bit over the structure of the overall 4-H program, the roles of some of the people that you'll see in it, the overall goals of our program. We'll touch a little bit on projects and some of the opportunities, some general advice, kind of how to get started with your first couple of years of 4-H. And then we'll talk about some resources. And as always, we'll address any questions that y'all have. So first off, welcome. We really appreciate y'all being here. Our 4-H families really help to make our 4-H program what it is and how exciting and how much fun we have with it, okay? Some of the things that we like for our families to keep in mind is 4-H really is a family affair. It is strengthened by the involvement of parents, by siblings, by friends. We really invite y'all to take a deep breath as y'all are learning about all of the different opportunities that y'all have. We invite y'all to ask lots of questions, especially as y'all are getting to know which project areas you're interested in and the multitude of opportunities that y'all have. We do want to let y'all know the first year, sometimes the first 2 years really are probably the hardest as you transition into your 4-H career. There's just a lot of information and a lot of opportunities. So a lot of people tend to get kind of overwhelmed with information overload as we start communicating all of those things. And then between Jerry and I, most of our primary communication is through email. We try and follow up with phone calls or text messages and some of the different sign-up groups that we have. But for the most part, most of our communication is going to come through email. And then most of y'all already have kind of an idea of what 4-H is. And basically, we're one of the largest youth development organizations in our country. We're very proud of the fact that Texas is one of the largest programs within the country. And the primary thing that we want y'all to know, so 4-H is a volunteer-led organization. So we rely on a lot of our parents who get comfortable with the program and get excited about some of the different project areas to help us lead those project opportunities, okay? And our goal is that those project opportunities are hands-on, they're engaging and age-appropriate, they're university-based, and help our kids to learn life skills and basically be the best that they can be as they're going through these project areas and developing their personalities and their likes and dislikes with them, okay? So the overall structure of our 4-H program, a little over 100 years ago, our United States Department of Agriculture, through the Morrill Land Act that was passed, created our state land grant university programs, which basically provided each state with a land grant university. So for our state of Texas, that land grant university is Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Services. So you'll see that logo and that information pop up quite a bit in a lot of our email blasts and newsletters. We also have a sister university that you'll see pop up with some really cool opportunities because of that unfortunate time of segregation in our history. So the Prairie View A&M system is our sister university within the state of Texas. And they have some really cool federal funding that helps them create some different types of programs that are open to most of our 4-H members. Underneath our land grant university system, the state of Texas is broken up into 12 different 4-H districts, okay? So for Lee County, y'all are in District 9. For Bastrop County, we're under the District 10 Research and Extension Centers, okay? Underneath each of those district centers, we have on average between 20 and 25 counties within each district. So District 10 has 21 counties. I'm not sure on the exact number for District 9. And then each county has its own county 4-H council. And for Lee County and Bastrop County, our 4-H council works with our 4-H ambassadors to provide the overall leadership and youth input for our counties. So basically our kids get to decide a lot of what's going on in our county, what direction we're going in, they get to be our big decision makers and have a little bit more buy-in. Underneath our county council, we have different clubs. So 4-H members can be a member of up to 5 different clubs within the same county. And then they can participate in projects at pretty much any level within the county. They can do self-study projects. They can do projects within their club. They can participate in projects with other clubs. Sometimes we have clubs that are project-based. So for instance, Mary Pearl, I know you've got our STEM, our science, technology, engineering, and mathematics club that's a little bit more geared towards that, okay? But basically our kids are not limited to the projects just under their club is what we want y'all to know there, okay? So within our structure, we have a lot of different parents and input levels that help us make our program successful. Parents are really key. Y'all are primarily our biggest cheerleaders, volunteers, support systems, part-time travel agents, you know, you name it. We really rely on y'all to help be advisors to our youth and help them to make some of the important decisions surrounding their projects. And that might include some of the project selection, so helping them figure out what they're interested in, helping advise them on some of the financing, what's really necessary to purchase versus what's not, managing their time, things like that. We rely on y'all to help them with follow through and commitment in their project areas, especially during those times when they're maybe not feeling so hot about their project, or maybe they're feeling a little bit tired of dealing with that project and they really just need to finish completing it. And then we rely on y'all to let us know what resources that the kids need to help be successful in their project areas, okay? Parent involvement is super important just because it does help to provide the structure of our program within our county. Typically, it will help strengthen family bonds. It helps to build that sense of community that we rely on so much. And it really helps out our club leaders and other parents to know what y'all are interested in and what resources are needed as well. And then there's lots of different opportunities for parents to grow in the program, whether you're interested in a particular project area and building your skills while your kids are working on a different one, or if you're interested in learning about fundraising or management and things like that. Okay. I know typically whenever we say we rely on parents to volunteer, that can be kind of an overwhelming concept. So whatever we say that we ask for y'all to help volunteer, it can be in a role that is very small and one time, or it can be an episodic thing, or it can be a continuous type of role, okay? Again, it's kind of up to you how much time you have to devote to being a volunteer or not. Some of it can be as simple as if you have knowledge in a certain area, so you used to show cattle, you used to raise hogs, you know a little bit about financial management, budgeting, you know a little bit about woodworking, those types of things. We rely on y'all to help share some of that project experience with our 4-H members, okay, if you're comfortable with that. It could be, you know, being the carpool person. It could be providing snacks and refreshments at the meeting. It could just be being there to help attend club and project meetings and maybe gathering supplies for them or passing out supplies at the meeting. Helping to keep record keeping in the front of our minds, helping to recruit other adults to assist with activities. It could be helping to plan different events. It might be as simple as serving as a judge for a contest. There's lots of different opportunities for contest-based help. And then just helping to promote the program in our community. So it can be as big or as little as you want. Our big expectations for our parents are, we just want y'all to be calm, positive, and kind, really just being that good, positive role model for our kids and setting a good example. We do prefer to have a do with versus do for mentality. We want our kids to really be developing those skills, not necessarily watching the adults or their parents do things for them. And then we want y'all to just be actively involved, okay? So just to kind of give an idea of what that looks like, most of the time at our 4-H meetings, you'll hear our 4-H motto and pledge. There is a 4-H parents pledge as well, and it divides our 4-H's up into head, heart, hands, and health. And basically, you know, it focuses on things like helping our youth to see things clearly and make wise decisions, supporting them no matter whether or not they have success or disappointments in those moments, devoting our hands to helping our child's club and helping out in equally important ways, even if you can't be a true, club leader or anything like that. And they keep our children strong and well for a better world and keeping our community, our country, and our world in mind. Okay. So with club leaders, one of the things that we like to remind everybody, so our club leaders are parents and they are volunteers that are devoting their extra time to these opportunities, okay? There are different levels of club leaders. So there are club managers who are going to manage kind of the back end, the administrative stuff of our clubs, and that could be arranging the agenda, sending out meeting reminders, minutes. They'll typically help us remind y'all of the upcoming deadlines and things going on. It could be project leaders within a club that are focused on a specific project area, or it could be, one-time activity leaders. And typically all three of these different volunteer roles are going to help 4-H members and families answer any 4-H questions they have. They'll help reach out to us agents if y'all have anything that they're not able to answer. They'll send out lots of reminders on opportunities that are available through 4-H at the county, district, and state levels. Typically, they'll know quite a few of the resources to connect y'all with. They really help to plan creative meetings and activities so that the 4-H meetings are as engaging as possible. They help to run the back end of the meetings, making sure they're orderly, y'all are having a useful meeting, and they're helping to develop those leadership skills. They're enforcing the fact that the youth are really responsible for leading those meetings and passing on some of that information and practicing those leadership and communication skills, and helping to make our 4-H meetings a fun and educational experience. Okay, and our expectations of the leaders are really that they're helping to pass on any necessary paperwork, meeting schedules, reminders in a timely manner. They're, again, helping the youth to run the club meetings with the youth interests in mind. They're setting a positive example, being a positive role model, being courteous, helpful, displaying positive attitudes. They're treating everyone with kindness and respect, encouraging everyone to do their best and to keep going even when it's difficult. And again, we try and focus on making 4-H a fun and educational experience. Our club leaders are really there to help y'all out as much as possible and to be a regular contact that y'all have. They are a helper and a guide. Again, their goal is to learn with you and do with you, but they are not responsible for doing for you, okay? They are able to connect you with a lot of resources, kind of talk to you through what works for their family, what project areas they enjoyed and things like that, but they cannot make decisions that are important to your family for you, okay? And then for county extension agents, so I am the Bastrop County 4-H and Youth Development Agent, and Jerry is our Lee County, her official title is Ag and Natural Resources, but she also provides supervision over the 4-H program there, okay? Our primary role is to inform and teach y'all in these different areas, okay? Sometimes that's directly with you, sometimes it is helping our volunteers to lead those different project areas so we can divide and conquer as much as possible, okay? And that way we are meeting the interest of all of the youth within the county. So not just our 4-H programs, but also the youth in the elementary, middle, and high schools as well, okay? And we've kind of got our work cut out for us in that respect, but we help to provide oversight and leadership to the 4-H programs within our counties. A lot of times it's administrative, sometimes it's in person as much as we can. So we help to make sure that our clubs are chartered, we monitor the use of the 4-H emblem, we help our council and club managers plan and coordinate the county 4-H programs, develop and utilize volunteers. Unfortunately, we do have to partly be that explanation and enforcer of the 4-H policies and procedures. We ensure that our quality programming is being done and inform our 4-H members of all of the different opportunities available to them. And typically y'all can expect the same things from us as the extension agents as you can from the club leaders. The only thing that we really ask from y'all is y'all be patient with us, just because we tend to have a lot going on. Most of our jobs are on a day-to-day basis. We could be in, 6 hours of back-to-back meetings. We're still responsible for making sure we return phone calls, emails, and we've got whatever project meetings and trainings that we're developing for that night. Typically, we work anywhere from a 40 to 80-hour week on a regular basis. So we try and make sure that we're being respectful of y'all's time, of our 4-H members' time, and we're getting y'all the information that y'all need, while also trying to make sure that we're getting enough sleep on a regular basis to be able to keep doing that. Okay. So the overall goals of our 4-H program are really to make sure that our youth are developing into productive and engaged citizens as they reach adulthood. Okay, that they are capable of essentially being all that they can be and meeting their full potential as adults. Okay, we really take our 4-H motto, to make the best better, to heart, and we do our best to make sure that we are there in as supportive a capacity as possible to get them there. Okay. And whenever we're talking about life skills, it's a little bit of an older model, but this is the 4-H life skills model. And it divides out some of those more common adult life skills out into the different areas of the head, heart, hands, and health. And a lot of them are basic, communication and leadership skills, basic functional skills. So some of it might be managing their own feelings, having a sense of their character, having a sense of self-discipline, stress management, empathy, concern for others, social skills, being resilient, and those type of things. So we work really hard through our project areas to help them overcome any issues and problems that they have, so that they know how to deal with those as adults. Okay. And we typically do those through our 4-H projects. There are over 200 different project areas that kids can get involved in. We tend to focus on some of the larger ones or the more popular ones, but essentially all of them are important. Projects are a tool that are used to reach youth and to teach them these skills. Okay. You can do self-study projects as well if they are not covered in one of the big popular areas in your county. As long as your child is interested in it, we will connect you with resources for it. Okay. We do ask that if they are doing a self-study project, that they still actively attend the club meetings, just to get more information on the upcoming opportunities, particularly at the district and state level, of the different things going on, because they may find some other information related to that self-study project area to help them expand. There are a lot of specific resources available through our Texas 4-H website, and we'll kind of show y'all a little bit on how to navigate through that towards the end of this. And the Texas 4-H website has a project area page, and then they've also got a Roundup page that organizes it a little bit more by contest area. Whenever we're thinking about 4-H projects, and we'll kind of jump into a little bit on record books and scholarships towards the end as well, but 4-H projects have 4 key components that you'll need to kind of keep track of. Okay, so we want to have 6 learning experiences in that project area, some kind of leadership opportunity where they are determining the direction and doing some of those coordination and communication skills, some kind of community service activity, and then some kind of exhibition. Okay, and let's see, my little thing is, so whenever we talk about exhibition, some of the contest areas or presentations are part of that project. Okay, so for livestock projects, exhibitions are a little bit easier, just because it's showing that animal, showing off the, the culmination of all of the skills and hard work that you've put into that animal. For some project areas, it might be giving a speech or a presentation on that topic. For others, it might be teaching a classroom full of kids about those opportunities, or speaking at a club meeting. Okay. So usually what we'll see in most counties, we see a lot of agriculture and livestock project areas. So cattle, we do have a dog care and training. That one does fall under livestock. even though it's a smaller animal, as well as rabbits. They are both incredibly important programs, particularly in some of our urban areas. We do have horticulture, junior master gardener, all sorts of different things that y'all can think of. The veterinary science falls under that area, but we also have lots of non-animal projects. And this is kind of just a small sampling of those things. Consumer education is very interesting and is increasing in participation. That's where kids learn about, setting budgets and comparing items for shopping. There's fashion and interior design, foods and nutrition, health and personal safety. I know we've got a few natural resource project kiddos. They get into entomology, forestry, some of the outdoor education, range science, shooting sports, sports fishing, wildlife and fisheries. And then leadership and citizenship, there's a lot of different opportunities there. You can have project areas specifically in citizenship, so being an active citizen in your community, community service itself. There's global education and awareness opportunities, leadership, public speaking, theater and performing arts. There is a workforce preparation and youth entrepreneurship program. And then we are increasingly finding support for our STEM areas, so that science, technology, engineering, and mathematics area. They have developed a lot in energy, robotics. There's, I think, quite a few things on rocketry, and then they've added our photography and videography opportunities there, as well as the general area of STEM. Okay. So 4-H projects are going to vary. So our primary concern with a project area is that the youth member is interested in it, okay? And it's going to focus on the interests, the needs, and capabilities of that member. And a lot of this is going to be discussed in your family unit as y'all are kind of exploring which areas to start with. There needs to be some kind of an opportunity for that youth member to be challenged and to grow within that project area, okay? We want to see them engage with that topic. We want them to get excited about learning about it, whether it's learning about swine. I think Mary Pearl just did a big thing on like elephant toothpaste and some fun science things. If you're super excited about, photography and videography, what is going to challenge you and keep you going within that project area, okay? Some of it might be influenced by your family situation. If you have the financing capable of supporting a project area, if you have any equipment and space needs for those project areas, if leadership for that project area is available in your county, and typically that's where we as extension agents will try and hop in and help y'all connect if there's an issue with that. But more importantly, a 4-H project should be a fun activity. It should serve a purpose for your family and for that child, and it should be worth the effort at the end of it. Okay. And then for our animal project validations, there's a few different things that you'll see throughout the year. So our validations are basically our ownership requirement periods. Most of the time, they're typically going to apply to our larger livestock projects. So typically you'll see them for lambs, goats, swine, cattle, things like that. There's a couple of other deadlines that are more local for rabbits, and there's one in January for dog projects, depending on how involved y'all want to be with those, okay? And you'll typically get that information from our newsletters and email blasts. There are a couple of different types of validations whenever we're talking about validations. So the state validation opportunity is what allows youth to purchase a tag to be able to show in one of the major livestock shows. So those are the larger statewide livestock shows, such as State Fair, Heart of Texas, San Antonio, Rodeo Austin, Houston, San Angelo, Fort Worth, those types of shows, okay? There are 2 different ordering periods for the state validations. So typically our summer validations are going to be for steers. There is only one validation for steers each year, and that physically takes place in June. You order tags in April and May. This same June validation will be the first of 2 validation opportunities for heifers. And then this June validation will be for any lambs, goats, and swine projects that want to show at State Fair and Heart of Texas, okay? We just finished up our round of fall validation tag orders, except for swine. So if people still have swine projects, they can order state validation tags for them at this point. Our second heifer validation of the year physically takes place in October. You have to order tags usually in September for it. Lambs and goats are also physically going to take place in October to be able to show in the spring major shows. Okay, and you would order those in September. Our swine tags are physically validated in November. So usually we're able to take those tag orders in early September and extend them into October. Okay. And at the validation process, once you order tags, we tend to send you lots of reminders about physically where to bring your animal and the actual validation process with it. We have to make sure that we abide by all of the state validation rules to verify your ownership to participate in the majors. And if y'all have any questions specific to those, I'm happy to answer them. For first-time families, it's a little bit easier to focus on some of our local show validations just because they're a little bit more flexible and they tend to be more frequent in opportunity throughout the year. To find out about the local show validations, you do need to read the show rules for the different animals that you plan to show. So Lee County has one county show, and Jerry has lots of information about when the validation dates are for them. Bastrop County is a little bit more complicated. So we have one county show that is open to the whole county for livestock and youth fair. It has a membership fee for the family requirement that's due October 1st of the year, and then entries would be turned in November 1st of the year. And then we have two other local shows that have separate deadlines, but are based on where you physically live or go to school. Okay. Okay. So within 4-H, we've got lots of different opportunities at the county, district, state, national, and even international levels, depending on how involved y'all choose to get. We, as the county extension agents, are going to pass on this information through our email blasts, our newsletters. You'll see a lot on different social media pages and our county and state 4-H websites. Social media tends to be the easiest way to find out about all the different opportunities. Our state and district pages will post a lot of different things coming up, and then a lot of the local 4-H clubs also have their own Facebook pages and things like that to share those information. So that way you have lots of opportunity to see those different flyers and opportunities. As y'all are going through your 4-H careers, we do stress record books as being part of your key to success, depending on what your goal is in your project area. And typically with record books, our 4-H record books are a little bit easier to put together than our FFA record books are. So FFA record books are really strictly focused on like your project records, finances, things like that. Your 4-H record book is really focusing more on your learning experience, your leadership and community service applications, okay? Typically we'll provide an overview for record books going from cover to cover in November, and then we'll have a few smaller workshops throughout the year to work on these. To get started and be successful with these, we really want y'all to choose your project areas that you're working on for the year, set your goals within the program, within the project area for the year. So what do you want to achieve in your dog project? What do you want to achieve in your STEM project? What do you want to achieve in your poultry project? Okay. And then from there, you're going to keep track of what you do participate in or attend throughout the year. These record books are incredibly helpful whenever you're completing your college applications. They tend to match up really well with the Apply Texas process once you're getting ready to complete those college applications. And then they match up really well with the Texas 4-H Foundation scholarship applications. And those are our larger statewide scholarship applications that you'll apply for once you get towards your graduating year of high school, okay? For record books, usually what we'll recommend, sort of storage system for keeping track of these different things can be as simple or as complicated as you would like. I have some parents that have a really, Pinterest-worthy filing system where they keep things organized by month and by project. I also have parents that have a spiral notebook where they take notes on what learning experience or what meetings applied to those different project areas. I have some that throw their agendas and flyers for things that they attended in a shoebox and then pull them out when they're ready to work on their record book. So it kind of just depends on what works for you and your family, your organization style, and what is sustainable for you. They tend to be kind of one of the more intimidating things whenever we get ready to talk about scholarship applications and a few other things as people advance in their 4-H career. It is much, much easier to start working on record books when your youth are younger and you kind of get into the routine and kind of know what to look for. That way you already know what it's going to be like and how much time y'all kind of need to work on them as y'all get towards your graduating year of high school. Okay. And then I think Mary Pearl, did you have a couple of questions about record books with regard to this training?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I was just trying to type it in the chat, but I wasn't fast enough. What's the timeline? I see that it says overview is provided in November, but we started kind of our 4-H season in September. Is it kind of September through August school year calendar based?
So that's a really good question.
And then are they due at any point? Is there okay, now you need to turn it into somebody and show it?
Absolutely. Okay, so this is kind of one of the confusing things, and I'm really glad that you asked that question. So timeline wise, our 4-H year stems from September 1st to August 31st of each year. Our record books are typically going to be turned in for judging, and you don't have to turn them in to compete at any level for judging if you don't want to. I know for Lee County and Bastrop County, we have y'all turn them in for some of our awards applications and for some of our scholarship applications, but you don't have to have them judged if you don't want to. But basically, we'll have y'all turn them in. I think usually our Bastrop 4-H record books are due by the first week of June, and I want to say Lee County's deadline this year will be June 3rd. But basically what we have y'all do at the county level is turn your record books in. We will judge them based on the quality of information that is presented, if you're able to communicate how well you're growing in those project areas and some of the fun things that you're doing. And again, it's based on quality, not quantity of things that y'all do. And they're broken into the different age groups. So 3rd through 5th graders are competing against each other. 6th through 8th graders are competing against each other, and then the 9th through 12th graders are competing against each other. That way, we're kind of working around some of those basic skill levels and trying to match their skill levels against each other.
And so, sorry, I guess I should have asked this question earlier. These are individual based, not 4-H family based. So like I would complete a separate record book for each of my children.
Each child, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So each child, yes. And that becomes important where your kids are working on their own individual project areas. So they are going to enter their record book typically in one main project area to compete in, and then they would also have some space to add their other 4-H project areas that they're working on in the record book as well. But basically, we provide feedback on different opportunities that we think y'all might be interested in. We'll ask maybe some clarifying questions and things like that about some of the opportunities. They are typically judged on the county level by other county extension agents, by other 4-H parents and experienced 4-H volunteers. And then y'all will get those back with that additional feedback. First place record books in each age group and each category have the opportunity to advance to district if y'all would like to submit them to district for advanced judging. And it's basically another competition level for the kids to go through, and another opportunity for feedback. If they place first, if they are a 9th through 12th grader and they place first at the district level, then they can advance to state in that project area. Okay. Typically, whenever we are judging them, they're going to be judged at the district level in July. And you'll kind of just keep adding things for each year on a July to July basis, if that makes sense. So it almost kind of matches our 4-H year, but not quite. So usually what we encourage y'all to do is there's a few different essay versions where you can talk about your plans in between judging and the new 4-H year, and then you would restart at the new 4-H year for the next record book judging cycle. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Did I answer all of your questions, or did you have one that I missed?
I think that was it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Not a problem. I just want to make sure I got it. Okay. And then for scholarships, I know scholarship is a pretty popular topic that comes up as well whenever we're giving these orientations. So scholarship information will typically be released on November 1st of each year. So it will vary a little bit. There's opportunities for county-based scholarships, and then there's our big Texas 4-H Foundation scholarships, and then there's lots of external scholarships. Keeping up with your record book helps with applying for all of them. For Bastrop County, we require that y'all have turned in your 4-H record book for at least 3 out of your 4 years of high school, because that is going to serve as most of your primary application. Okay. So we want to see how you've been involved in the community, your leadership, and so on. I don't believe, I'll have to double check with Jerry on the Lee County scholarships that are available, because I'm not quite sure on the answer for that one. I know she had to go and help with one of their shooting sports practices this evening, so she couldn't make it with
that's
us.
where I'm at. I'm watching her.
Oh, how funny.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I can ask her later.
Oh, perfect. Okay. I do know record books are required to help complete some of the awards for both Lee County and for Bastrop County. For our Texas 4-H Foundation scholarships, so those are the giant scholarships that can range from anywhere from $3,000 to $20,000, excuse me. Those do not require you to complete a record book. However, they are extremely helpful, because if you have completed your record book throughout your 4-H career, you can basically pull, I think it's 2 or 3 sections of your record book out, and then that part of your application is done. Okay. So it helps save time and stress on that. So the big foundation scholarships are primarily academic scholarships. So it is really important for our youth, whether they're homeschooled, public school, charter schooled, whatever, that they are keeping up with their grades and their academic careers in addition to their 4-H activities. Okay. They have, I think the Scholarship Foundation has waived, I think, the standardized testing requirements, so the ACT and SAT for last year. And I believe they announced that they are also going to waive it for this year. So they are primarily going to base it on grades and then the overall quality of your 4-H experience. So they have, their application typically consists of several essays that the kids have to write that kind of shows a lot about their family, how they got involved with 4-H. They'll have to be able to communicate about their main 4-H project experiences and how 4-H has basically changed them or affected them as a person. They'll also need to be able to communicate about what advanced higher education program they're planning to attend, why they chose it, and their financial capability of handling the cost of that as well. Okay. Okay. So there are tons and tons and tons of different opportunities. There are all sorts of things, from day trips to overnight camps to workshops to whatever. If you can think about it, we probably do it. So there are a lot of county related camps and workshops that Jerry and I try and make fun and put on for our kids. I know we have a couple of county camp days. This year we basically did a modified escape room that was 4-H themed for Bastrop County. There's all sorts of different 4-H center camps up at the Brownwood Center. They have like a junior leadership retreat. for some of the intermediate 6th through 8th graders that want to explore leadership a little bit more. There's fashion retreats, there's primetime summer camps for some of our younger friends. We've got our district 4-H mega meetings, we've got leadership labs, we've got our council election opportunities and meetings. We also have lots of different state opportunities that are unique to Texas. We just finished having our Texas 4-H Rabbit Extravaganza. Every other year, we will have our Texas 4-H Congress, where our kids actually get to be their own version of our state Congress. And we actually get to sit on the Congress floor and work through some of the bills that they have submitted as 4-H members. We've got dog shows, lead academies, we've got our state roundups as well. And then there's lots of different state ambassadors and committees for the kids to take advantage of as well. There are a few different opportunities for them to explore career. Typically, whenever we have our state roundup and a few of our larger overnight trips that are open statewide, there is usually going to be some kind of college tour associated with it. There will usually be some kind of college prep, scholarship workshop, something along those lines. And then there's a few different certification programs. I know one of our big drawing points is our vet tech program. Okay. There are, like we were talking about, a few different award and scholarship opportunities. So I know for Bastrop, we separate out our awards applications from our record book due date. So our awards applications are going to be due May 12th, and that includes our local scholarship applications. But our record books will be due usually that first week of June. For Lee County, they're all due together on June 3rd. And then Bastrop County, our 4-H Council has budgeted for a few different sponsorships for kids that want to participate in some of our bigger educational opportunities. So they have created a couple of opportunities for reimbursing a portion of the fees for the District 10 Leadership Lab, attending our Texas 4-H Congress, and then attending our Texas 4-H Roundup. So for our Leadership Lab and our Congress, they will reimburse 75% of the registration fee for people who attended, and you have to actively attend in order to qualify for that reimbursement. And then they will reimburse for 50% of the registration fee for attending or participating in Texas 4-H Roundup. And again, you have to actually attend in order to be eligible to receive that reimbursement. Okay. So again, we've got lots of local scholarships for graduating seniors. I know we've got our Bastrop County 4-H scholarships. There's a Home and Community Council scholarship in Bastrop County, the Bastrop County Texas Extension Education Association scholarships, and both District 9 and District 10 have a district TIA scholarship associated with that. And I believe they have the same requirements. You do have to submit a record book that will be selected district-wide for that one. Our local pecan auxiliary, our local farm services agencies will also offer a bunch of local scholarships. The Texas Farm Bureau, there's hundreds of local scholarships for the different agencies near us. For graduating seniors, again, there's a bunch of college and program specific scholarships. I know the Texas A&M Poultry Science Department, I think their Rangeland Science Department, a couple of other ones will have some specific scholarship opportunities related to those degree plans that will usually come out, I want to say, in the spring. And then our Texas 4-H Foundation scholarships. Most of the time with a lot of our statewide scholarship information, we are going to receive our foundation scholarship information the earliest, and that will be usually around the first week of November. They are going to be due towards the very end of January, beginning of February of that year. And then our TIA scholarships are usually due around the first part of February. And then the college and program specific scholarships are kind of rolling dates depending on when we get that information. Okay. I know Jerry and I are working on setting up a couple of scholarship opportunity overviews for November for people who are interested in that. And you are welcome to attend those no matter what stage your child is in. even if it's just to get to know kind of what to expect as y'all are kind of going through your 4-H career or kind of the timeline for those different scholarships. I highly recommend, if you have a child in 10th or 11th grade, to start attending it at least in 10th or 11th grade. That way you have lots of opportunity to kind of prepare for your graduating senior year, and you can ask lots of questions and kind of get an idea of what happens when during that process. Okay. General advice for starting out with us, please, please, please ask your questions. We know you have a million of them. We know that y'all don't necessarily want to be a burden or feel like y'all are burdening us with questions, but we want you to. That is why we're here. Ask your leaders questions, ask other parents questions, have your kids ask other experienced 4-H members. Please, please call the county extension office and talk to your agents. We love hearing from y'all. We love getting to know y'all and what your kids want to do in our program. We do highly, highly encourage y'all to try and have some good time management skills. We do not like collecting late fees. The late fees are there simply to help people remind them to get those into us. We really want y'all to, if you need to reach out for help, if you need us to mail you stuff ahead of time, please let us know that. We're happy to do that. 4-H can be really, really stressful if you tend to wait till the last minute and you're trying to do a million things all at the same time. It can get really confusing depending on what you're wanting to accomplish with it. Again, if you communicate with your county extension office ahead of time, usually we'll help you keep track of some of that stuff. We can help mail you stuff or have stuff ready for you to pick up on a rolling basis on a set day of the week or something like that. And we will work with you around your schedule to get that done. Okay. The one thing as agents that we really want y'all to understand is reading is essential. We love y'all. We love talking to y'all. We do not write our email blasts and newsletters for fun. I'm just going to say it. We have a lot of information to communicate, and we are trying to do it in the best way possible to try and catch as many people as possible. Sometimes that information can get lost a little bit easier in our email inboxes that way, but try and keep up with them. Read the rule books for your local shows or contest opportunities that y'all want to participate in. We encourage y'all to read some of the project guides. We've put together a couple of handbooks that have some different descriptions and resources for those different types of opportunities if y'all are interested in those as well. Okay. And then just a reminder, your first and again, sometimes your second year, it is really, really normal to feel like you're drinking out of a fire hydrant. There's a lot going on. And we do want to remind you, you do not have to do everything or try and be the ultimate 4-H parent this first or second year, okay? Really what we want y'all to do is work on finding your main club, the one that feels like home, the one that you're going to do most of your project areas out of, that feels really comfortable and has a good communication style and social style for y'all. During your first few years, we really encourage y'all to select maybe 2 or 3 projects to focus on that first year. When you're selecting those projects that first or second year, it is okay to not like a project, okay? So if y'all select a hog project, y'all went out and got a hog, your kid's just not having a great time with it, maybe not their jam, and they found out that they actually really like taking pictures of the hog more than they like working with the hog, that's okay. That's part of that learning process, okay? That means that maybe we need to reevaluate that project and switch gears a little bit, okay? What we really want y'all to focus on is that learning experience to make sure you're learning and you're growing in those project areas, okay? Maybe as y'all start looking at our email blasts, our newsletters, and some of the upcoming workshops, maybe pick 1 or 2 of those to go to, a couple of larger events that you might have some questions about or looks like it would be fun to attend. And then really just finding a record keeping method that works for your families, for some of your record books, for your memories, and for some of your applications that are going to come up later on, okay? Take lots of pictures as y'all are going through your first few years. It's going to be a lot of fun. Even if it doesn't feel fun at that moment, you will probably laugh at that photographic memory later on. And they really become a part of your 4-H experience as y'all go through it. Okay. So resources, again, we've got a couple of handbooks. I'm happy to print them off. I can also email digital copies to anyone if y'all are interested in kind of going through those. If you like to read stuff instead of talk through things, that's totally fine. Again, reaching out to 4-H members, club leaders, your county extension agents. Our main websites, we've got, so there's the lee.agrilife.org and bastrop.agrilife.org. I've got a couple of different blogs and Facebook pages set up. I'll have to send you the District 9 information as well. Our Texas 4-H Center website has some really, really good information. And then our Texas 4-H Clover Guide has some cool different overviews of some of the project areas and opportunities. And then we'll kind of go over the general Texas 4-H website. On this slide, y'all have both my cell phone numbers and Jerry's cell phone numbers. We're happy for you to have those numbers. We welcome y'all to call or text us. We know that y'all have, 9 to 5 jobs just like we do. I will typically make sure that I'm responding to phone calls until about 7:30 at night on most nights. After 7:30, it's really family time for me. So I try and disconnect from my cell phone at that point, unless we're at a major event where you're checking in. And then I ask that we not call or text on Sundays, just so that can be my one true family day and my family has my full attention. Okay. All right, let me see. I can pull up our Texas 4-H website and kind of show you what that looks like. So most of the time, whenever I'm looking for 4-H project resources, I'll Google search Texas 4-H and then whatever I'm trying to find. Sometimes that's a little bit easier than kind of looking at this main web page. It just kind of depends on what you're looking for. Okay, so whenever you go to that main web page, you'll kind of go into these different main 4-H areas, and you can kind of look by subject area. There's a few different resources. They've got some curriculum resources that you can click on. They've got enrollment help and things like that. So these are some of the curriculum things that you can click on and download. They've got some after school type things. Okay, they can help you find a club or project or some of the enrollment resources. There's also some volunteer management things, so you can go search based on programs, projects, Texas 4-H Center camps. Let's see, you can search by events. There's a main record book page. So if you go to events, it'll take you to this event page. So these are mostly where you'll find the different statewide events. And then they've also got links to the different district pages. So for District 9, we click on y'all, it takes us to our District 9 webpage. And they'll have some different resources based on what trainings are available for their projects in that district. They'll have some different contact information for your district 4-H specialists and things like that. Okay. And then if you click on any one of the main events, probably one of the biggest ones that will be helpful for y'all as 4-H parents is this Texas 4-H Roundup page. Because when we go to the state Roundup page, it organizes all of the different project areas by contest area. So you can actually go through here alphabetically and click on some of the contest guidelines for the year, or you can go straight to the project page. Okay. So for instance, I'm right next to Food Challenge, so I'm going to click on it so I can open the guidelines and I can go to the project page. So this will give me the Food Challenge contest structure at the state level for the year. I can peruse through there and see kind of the different changes that were made. And I can go to the project page and click through some of the resources. So they've got a bunch of different kind of little curriculum and project things. They've got some guides that'll help prepare you for some of the contest. They've got some videos that have been created to help you. They've actually got specific information to the different contests that apply to those project areas. Okay. So again, this is probably one of the most helpful pages that I've found. As adults, there are lots of different things. So you can go to the 4-H management section and you can look for enrollment help. They've got some family guides and things like that. Our 4-H online system is not very cooperative. I'm just going to say it. So y'all can try and get help here, or you can call our extension office directly. Okay. And again, you can go to some of those curriculum and resource pages directly. All right, I think that's all that Jerry and I had for the most part for y'all. Do y'all have any other questions or anything with regard to 4-H? Whoops, and I think I talked through all those websites and y'all didn't see them, did you? Goodness. All right, let's try that again. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so this is the main 4-H page whenever you click on that initial link. So you can click on these different individual buttons and they'll take you to some of those different project areas. Okay, so you can click on the specific ones within that general overarching category. Up at the top, you can kind of navigate by 4-H management. So if you're looking for some of the 4-H online resources, you can click on that. And it will take you to these different family guides and resources here on the website. Let's see, if you go directly to this curriculum and resources, it'll take you to these different curriculums that are available directly for download. Okay, and they've got some of the different after school programs and curriculum links down here as well. Okay, there's a few different volunteer resources on here. They've got some volunteer resources based on projects, some of the Texas 4-H center camps. You can connect to the different trainings and things like that here. Okay, they'll have a few different award opportunities that are open to volunteers there as well. And then this youth tab becomes particularly important whenever you're looking for project resources for the kids. So they've got these projects. Again, you can select them by these different overarching categories. You can look at the ambassador programs, curriculum and resources. And then this event tab right here is the one we were talking about with the different events and activities and connections to the district pages. So our District 9 page looks like this. Okay. And then they've got some different resources. You can find out more about your district councils on the district pages. Usually they'll have some shooting sports specific trainings, some of the calendar of events and contests and things that are open to y'all. Okay. And then this is that Texas 4-H Roundup website. Okay. So it does have the 2022 information on there, and most of the contests have been updated. Usually they'll start updating them about September 1st of each year, and it'll take them a couple of months to kind of roll through all of the different contests. So the ones that have been bolded are currently updated, excuse me. Okay, so if we click on some of these resources, I can click on the guidelines or instruction packet for that project area, or I can go directly to that project page. So whenever we click on the guidelines, we'll see this rules and guidelines for that state opportunity this year. If we click on the project page, let me go back. Food challenge project page, then it'll take us to the overarching food nutrition page that applies to that contest. and we'll see those downloadable resources. So these are all downloadable pages and PDF flyers and things like that. They've got the video resources and then those contest specific resources and tools, depending on what you're interested in. Okay. All right. I think that's all that we had. Do y'all have any other questions? Is there anything that you know your kids are already interested in for the year that we can help you with? So you're welcome to unmute yourself or type in the chat box, whatever works for you. All right, well, I guess I will go ahead and stop the recording button for now. If y'all have any questions, I'll hang out for just a few more minutes. I'll have to hop on to another training at 7, but I'll be happy to answer any questions that y'all have before then. And again, thank y'all for coming. We really, really appreciate y'all, and we look forward to getting to know your families this year.